Well, we're gonna jump right in because
Sorry, we're late.
Your time is so valuable.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, come get settled, have a seat. So there's a couple things that I want to share, and thank you all for coming. Thank you for taking time and fighting the traffic and going to tour the campus that you're here. And we're grateful that you are here. Number one, Brian, thank you for your support. And Danny, we got a big check that he's going to sign, and we can all celebrate because he's one of our lead sponsors.
Awesome.
For our upcoming vision breakfast for
It's not me personally, it's Better Man.
Better Man.
Yeah. We believe in what y'all are doing.
So thank you. So we're recording this session, so that's why it's a little tense. You know, anytime the red light is on, you know, folks, you're in the paint. And so we're using virtual reality technology so people can see us in the future wearing these Oculus goggles. You know, all this technology. But we'll talk more about that. I'm Archbishop Alan Wiggins. I am the chairman of Frontline Outreach Incorporated. And these are just great days. It's funny that you mentioned that you went over to Frontline, the former place, because we have ongoing questions about Frontline, the former place. We have moved from there, but we haven't lost our purpose. So we've expanded beyond the place, and we're embracing a larger purpose. Kind of like, Brian, what you did with Better Man and opening it up so folk around the world could take advantage of the ministry. So today, we want to introduce you to Frontline 2.0. Now, I'm not going to steal my team's thunder, but the white Dwight Mitchell is our director of Frontline, and Jemima Kanga is our program coordinator, but he's going to introduce all of that. So let's give it up for Dwight.
First of all, thank you guys for coming to visit us. It's important. You guys have been a great supporter of us since I've been at Frontline, and I want to thank you for that first and foremost publicly. Frontline, as you know, has been in existence over 54 years in this community as a change agent to help under-resourced families and children in need. So we're proud of that, and we want to make sure we keep that going, and we'll talk about a few things that you guys, I'm sure, are aware of a lot of it. The history of Frontline. Frontline was established in 1967. We stand on the shoulders of Evangelist C.R. Smith. That's where this thing was founded, and we want to make sure we do due diligence in making sure it's a wonderful place as he dreamt about. Archbishop Alan T.D. Wiggins had a concept called Hopes in the West Family. He invited Frontline and Legends Academy into that vision in 2014, where the live, work, play, and learn and worship concept. But a funny thing happened in 2020, the pandemic, you guys know about that, and we were kind of panicking, like, what are we going to do now? We need to still serve these kids in this community. We still need to make sure they get the services they've been getting since 1967. So what do we do about that? We had to rethink. They're at home, virtual reality, we weren't prepared for that, to be honest with you, but these kids still are having a problem with teachers in the classroom, making sure they get all the resources. So Legends Academy being a great partner of ours, we thought it'd be smart if we just trade places during the pandemic, because they have over 400 kids in portables, 20 portables. And we have the sports and all those great things that we do. You guys you help us all the time. But a lot of times transportation, getting them back and forth was still an issue, even though it's a couple blocks away. So one of the most important things we need to do is make sure that's not an obstacle or barrier to helping certain kids in this community. So while they transition into the old building, we're going to focus on global technology, which is robotics, coding, VR. This is the fourth industrial revolution that's happening as we speak. And we're actually 2 or 3 years behind. Our kids have no idea where the new jobs are going, what's happening in the future. And I'll give you a quick story. One of the young men who's working with us, we had a program through OUC and I build, and we started with 15 young men. And in 5 months, He's now working at OUC, making about $48,000 a year, and never went to college. So a lot of our programs will have certification and outcomes where kids can really change their lives and their families and be self-sustainable and not always dependable. So with that concept, we thought about what can we do, how can we name this thing and make a difference? And we came up with the idea of Frontline Innovation Studios, where we awaken the genius in our youth. Yes. So Jemima's gonna come up and she's gonna give you more of the details of what that's about. And we're gonna show you a video. After the video, Jemima will come up and tell you more about what the working together.
In many industries, if you look like me, you may not be considered for huge innovative opportunities. But because of this place, I am on the front lines of technology.
Hope Center West is a live, work, learn, play, and worship community. Frontline Innovation Studios, we're able to sow within the rules that we serve, to shape their little minds and their hearts.
I have the joy of serving as, first and foremost, a friend of Archbishop Alan Wiggins. Secondly, I have the joy of partnering with Frontline as a board member there. And then finally, being a part of this community. I lead the First Academy, which is a neighbor to Frontline. And we feel like together, we have big dreams for this community.
We pride ourselves in being an organization that lives on the cutting edge of technology and advanced education in this community. We want to make sure the kids learn that we're in the fourth industrial revolution.
I was introduced to Frontline close to 40 years ago. Well, I think the most important contribution that Frontline makes to our community is a great source for education and stability in this community here.
And when we think about what the future is for our students, my children, your children, it's not the stuff of the past, it's the stuff of the future. And it all revolves around technology, advancements in science, and communicating through the vehicle of technology. And so these studios will be designed to leverage these new tools and take kids to a place they've never gone before, thinking about economic opportunity, thinking about health and wellness opportunity, thinking about communication opportunity, technology opportunity. All of this is wrapped up in the Frontline Innovation Studio project.
We have a kid by the name of Dave, and when he first came to the program, he enrolled in the broadcast program. And at first he wasn't really interested, but as the program went on, he realized that this is something that he really wanted to do. He was enlightened, and now this is something that he wants to research and look into for the future.
And I can just imagine walking to an airport one day and moving to the lounge and having a moment to talk to the pilot and the co-pilot before they get off the plane. And seeing that pilot and co-pilot, I'll ask them, what was the major thing that incented you to take on this career? And they'll say, I had an experience at a place called Frontline. And it was there I was introduced through virtual reality to the whole notion of how to fly. It inspired me and encouraged me to go forward in that. The future is not what it once was, but our investment in these children are changing what the future will be.
I am so excited to embrace the pillar of worship or faith, because faith is that component that allows us to shape values, shape belief, shape the moral compass. So as we move into this next revolution, we can really know that we've got disciples even in the metaverse. So I'm excited about this journey with Frontline Innovation Studios.
Before I start, he stole that metaverse line from me. So you just saw a video about how our staff members, board members, partners, they're just excited about what we're doing here at FIS. So I'm going to share with you how we're awakening the genius in our youth. One, we need to expose them to emerging technology. Two, we need to equip them with tools and the skills that they'll need to either pursue career or entrepreneurialism in the world of technology. And lastly, we want to expand their pathways on how they can get there. So at Frontline Innovation Studio, we are creating a circle of genius. And embedded in that circle of genius is a unique formula that we came up with that is AG, which is awakening the genius, equals P to the sixth power. So I am going to get into details with you guys about what these P's are and what the process of the circle of genius consists of. So we have parts, process, people, partners, and place. I know there's 5. He's looking. I think there's 5. In the circle of genius, we don't put it there, but we know that as a faith-based organization, Christ is in the center of everything. So the power of Christ sets 6P for us here at Frontline Innovation Studio. The 4 parts that we believe are very important for us to attack to awaken the genius in our youth is communication, career, currency, and care of self. We'll start with communication. When we got in the room, as Dwight mentioned, we knew that we needed to change something, right? We weren't able to reach the kids in person, so when we got into the process, we were in a room full of tech professionals, and we asked them, like, hey, what do we need to do to prepare our youth for the workforce in the world of technology? And we're surprised to hear that, one, they don't want us to train them on how to, work technology. They can teach them how to code. They can teach them how to work a system, but they're like, well, we can't teach them how to be nice, how to work with each other, how to problem solve in a group. And we're like, okay. So when we got back, we're like, okay, communication definitely has to be a part of what we're doing here. So we're teaching them soft skills, presentation skills, listening skills. In our broadcast program, which is one of the most popular programs we have, the kids are learning how to communicate in front of the camera, and they're utilizing the back of the camera as well. The second part is career. We want to immerse them in heavily technology programs like robotics, virtual reality, as we've mentioned here, coding and gaming. We want to open their minds to the different careers that there is in the world of technology, either if it's an in-person tour or taking a virtual tour. Dwight and I took a tour of the White House last week on a virtual reality goggle. So imagine how amazing that would be, standing next to a surgeon and seeing everything they're doing as if you're in the room. And lastly, we're promoting resume building. We are giving them certificates that they can use and walk out of here and have a solid resume with any tech company. Our third part is currency. We find that between the ages of 7 and 9, our youth do not understand the power of currency. They don't know that you don't spend all your money. Sometimes you put a quarter away and use 75 cents. So we're teaching them traditional ways of finance, alternative ways of finance. As you know, finance is going into the sky. Like, there's crypto, there's Bitcoin. So we are exposing them to those ways of financing and investing as well. And we're letting them know how important finance is in the world of entrepreneurialism. Our last part is care of self through technology. They're using their phones anyway. So we are promoting the use of personal health through technology as well as wellness. Frontline, the old building, was known for catering to the athletes in the community, exposing them to non-traditional urban sports. We still want to bring those athletes with us as we go into the world of technology. So we are using technology to improve their athletic performances. We're doing on-field stimulation through virtual reality. And with the installation of our speed and agility field, we'll be able to measure their athletic performances. Now, how do we measure our outcomes? How do we know that what we say that we're doing is actually happening? We are using track solutions, and in track solutions, each of our kids are going to get their own ID cards where they're checking in and out of the program, which promotes self-accountability. We're not chasing you, we're not walking you in. You can check in and check out whenever you need to. We can use this system to track their progress, to track our program hours, and to track students' attendance as well. And one of my favorite pieces is the individualized student plan. In this portion, we can insert their report cards where we can, kind of see where we can complement what they're doing in school, as well as in our program. And Dwight will come up and just let you know what the people in this process are and how important they are to our program.
You met me and you came, but we know it's important to have a great team. Like you guys all have a great team. That's why you do so great in what you do. But we want to make sure we have certified people on our team, because now that if I have somebody in the room, having somebody who cares about the kids and also the credentials. Dr. Tricia McGee, she's the senior administrator of Orange County Public School System. She's head of our PSAT program. And we're going to focus heavily on math. Math is one of those things the kids really need to be great at when it comes to coding and robotics. So we want to make sure the kids have a strong hold on that and immerse them with support when it comes to that. Monica May is a national host on radio. She used to be with Tom Joyner's morning show, but she does a broadcast program that teaches kids communication. Clyde Robertson and Greg Hill are two USTA certified tennis coaches. We want to make sure, again, not just somebody who likes to play tennis on weekend tennis warrior, but somebody who has a certification. And USTA is a great partner of ours. They help us with a lot of new program innovative ideas that we come up with. So they're into learning, not just tennis. So every program and every dollar we get from USTA, there's a learning component attached to it. And we're proud of be able to get these two gentlemen. Alan Wiggins, the second, as Bishop Wiggins' son, he's the head of our fitness program. He's also certified. So we have a fitness studio downstairs that's going to be on cutting edge of technology. So when she talked about the fields and different things, yeah, we set relationships with their own building. Tennis courts were built by USTA, so we're going to maintain those tennis lessons, and they're doing them now, right now, at the campus right now. And then we'll do other things over there. But yeah, so he'll have the place where he'll improve their performance. So when they go back to the field, they'll be great at it. Teresa Frazier, she's a civil engineer. She also helps with the PhD program, but we also have another program. All these Bishop is mad at me, I'm talking about these P's on these acronyms. But we have a CPP program, which is called Career Prodigy Program. What does that mean? The kids will build a virtual city. So they can learn what it takes to build a city, learn about all the different careers it takes to build a city. Then the people from the community, even mayor, different degrees, to come and talk to them about what it is to be a mayor, how do you create a budget, finance plans, things like that. So they can learn on the ground. A lot of kids don't know, they know about careers, but what does it take? How much does somebody does insurance broker make? How much does somebody who runs a church, how much do they make? So you have to figure out those things ahead of yourself so you can prepare yourself and create an educational path. So she's great at that. Stephanie Turnbull is another PSAT instructor, and we're so happy. We have 2 certified STEM instructors for Orange County Public School System. And the one we're really proud of, we're proud of everybody, but Marcus Robinson, he just won 2 robotics competitions here for UCF and in Tallahassee. So our kids are going to have really great instructors going forward. So these are some of the developing partners that we have, and we want to make sure all these partners contribute to our goals and our missions. Full Sail, obviously you guys know Full Sail. EA Sports are so happy we brought them on staff because they help us a lot of technology, all the gaming, things of that nature. Burgos, he's right there next to you. Well, we're into the virtual reality right now, and Emory Riddle. And they'll help us with scholarships, summer programs, certifications, tours, and technology. So now she's going to give you a conceptual view of what this place will look like in the future.
Okay. So you're walking up the stairs. The view that you have here is of this room. So imagine yourself walking up the stairs. The concept is to have an open area where activities can feed off of each other. That hallway is huge, right? So what do? We knock down walls or throw activities out there. So we thought, let's just fill the center up with activities and things that are happening here the minute you walk up those stairs. And you see those screens that are on the walls at a time like this where there's nothing really happening, there's no kids here. We'll be able to broadcast things and activities that they were doing the day before. So that way you can get a feel about what's happening here. And we're going to go back into this room. That huge screen that you see there is our digital wall. It's interactive. It will be interactive. On this wall, we'll be able to do presentations. The kids will be able to record in front of the wall. And as you go into the room, the idea is to have a multi-purpose area where they can either do big group activities or they can break out into small sessions. Right behind here, we're going to knock down this wall. I haven't had time, so I haven't knocked it down yet. I knocked those 2 down last week. And right behind here is our broadcast program, where our kids are gonna be working with Monica May. And if we go right back up the hallway, this kiosk that you see here is our Track Solutions kiosk, where they'll be checking in and out of the program. And of course, we want to showcase our logo anywhere that we can, and what better place than when you first walk in. We're gonna go right back down this hallway here. Next to our administrative offices is my favorite area, which is our gaming room. What we've learned during our research with gaming is that hand-eye coordination is acquired through gaming. And this is something that you definitely need to become a robotic surgeon. So whereas we're looking at gaming as, oh my God, it's a game, this is now a profession. So the idea behind the setup in this room is that they'll be either able to interact with each other, or engage in competitions or interactions with people outside of the building. So those big screens are to help them kind of do that. So this is what we are working towards. This is the idea that we have when you walk into the center. And we have some upcoming events for you, and Dwight will explain further.
So right now, I'd like to bring up, again, these are visionary. They said you have supervision, supervisor, supervision.
This is my part, this is
Well, first of all, give it up for Jordan.
Yeah.
The heart's just pounding. I can just see it. Before we talk about near-term needs, are there any questions that you might have that Dwight can answer, or Jamila? I'm just standing up.
What's the target age group for the children in the program?
Middle to high school.
Middle school and high school, right? And do you have students already in programming now, and you're looking to put them in this programming?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have program. We started program. We were gonna open up all the rest of the programs April 18th.
Okay. And
right
so,
now we're doing the math program.
And what kind of enrollment do you expect? Like how many students can this?
Well, that's interesting you asked that. So our goal is to go deep, not wide.
Okay.
In the past, we would go maybe 200, 100 kids at a time. That's not really effective. Most schools are trying to get to a classroom that's about less than 20. And that was a big thing years ago.
Right.
Remember that. So we want to go at least 15 cohort, 15 people, different everyday groups. We do different cohorts. Now we may run we will run two cohorts at one time, because we have the broadcast program set aside from the other programs. But the Circle of Genius, they get to see all of this. So it's not kids just in robotics or kids just in math.
They move around.
They move around. They have to go through the circle, through the whole Genius. And then when they finish, they'll get another kid.
So a typical student that's enrolled would be here after school?
Yes, sir.
For each day, or one day a week, or how does that
It
work?
would be throughout the week.
Okay.
On certain days, they'll get different programs.
Okay.
And how does a student become involved with your program?
So what we're going to do is waiting list probably going to happen, because kids are already aware of what we're doing. They're excited. So we interview kids. Well, one of the things I found in my experiences, and a lot of experience doing since 1993, a lot of times people just throw kids in the program, and they don't want to be there. So they become disruptive, they hinder other kids from learning. We want to make sure that you want to be here, that you want to learn. So we interview the parent and the child to make sure it's a fit for what we're doing. And we did that in the past. I don't know if you guys remember, we did Fit for Life camp about maybe 2 years ago. It was the most amazing thing we ever did, because all those kids wanted to be there. So it was a enriching experience for the instructor and the students. That's the same concept.
And is it free for the students?
Yes.
One of the things that's awesome about this, the kids are already in this space.
Right.
And we as adults, we're catching up to them.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, most of us don't know about Oculus, and we don't know about all these coding and gaming the way they do. So for us to be able to really relate to them, we kind of got to get in that space. So the moment we start letting this out, they are coming like crazy. So right now, just like Dwight said, there are several cohorts that go through the rotation, and that's how we're able to manage the kids in this space.
So the other thing I'll just say real quick, and me and Frank kind of, some of our passions, we're going to have a robotics team that will be able to travel and compete. Also, my passion is robotics. Mine is the drone racing team. You know, so it's like, it's
See, I'm loving y'all. See, Daddy,
Drone racing.
drone racing.
look at your staff.
They broadcast it on ESPN. Oh, yeah.
Yes. It is huge already.
Who would have thought? I've seen
It's
it.
called esports, and these guys all around the world now. United States is not into it like we should be. You got DHL, you got Xfinity, you got what's the other one, Frank? There's another big company that's sponsoring these drone races with their big logos that on the apparatuses and drones go through them.
I saw one that was down at the Dolphin Stadium. On a, you know, they raced through the stadium. They
Yes.
set up an obstacle course on the concourse and stuff. It's incredible.
One of our goals is to make sure some of these kids come out with drone certifications as well, because once you get that certification, you're able to get jobs. It's not just about fun all the time. We're trying to think about how do we attach purpose to learning? How do we attach a purpose to learning? Because that's when kids really start to engage. When they say, I'm learning geometry because I want to be an architect. Nobody told me that because I probably did better. Nobody told me that. It's just learn, geometry, trigonometry. What job is that for? Or you're just learning something that's very difficult. So we got to make sure everything we do is a job that we can attach to it.
And
Career,
pathways,
I should say, not
and pathways are very important because young people are already immersed in technology, but in some cases, we have to help them understand how to take our technology and make it benefit them, as opposed to them being the victims of technology.
Right.
There's so much of that is happening.
How early are you guys introducing the pathways and the partners that you guys mentioned earlier?
How early?
EA Sports, yeah, like 6th grade, 7th grade?
Well, I mean, anybody in the program will have access. So and it's not just for the high schoolers. So there'll be different phases of it, obviously, because some kids, you can't mix the classroom too much. So because when you get to technology, you can do breakouts. So like robotics is not, everybody can learn the same thing. You have some people with code, some people be on a mechanical team. So there's certain things they can do that will benefit, them and be appropriate for their age.
Yeah, and pathways can happen in a number of different directions. First of all, on the robotics team, you get really immersed in it, you get excited about it.
Right.
And that allows you to say, well, maybe I want to pursue a career in that, even though we're dealing with high schoolers. That can get them excited enough to pursue some advanced education. The other way pathways emerges is when we get them the certifications. They can get certifications in various activities, various technologies. Again, is another way to put them on pathways. And as they leave out of high school, EA, Full Sail, these are organizations that are willing to have them as interns and also to provide scholarships, such as places such as Full Sail and Emeryville.
So good. You just stir something up when we said that. So we're working with a number of technology companies now that do not have an apprenticeship program. And they just passed where the technology companies will get a tax incentive to start an apprenticeship program called Rapid Apprenticeship Program. So we'll become a pre-apprenticeship program that we can feed right into the company. So we're working on that right now.
That's cool. Yeah, we're on the front line.
I
I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
So most of those apprenticeship programs are typically for construction companies. So now they're starting to recognize technology as one of the other areas to get into.
Any other questions?
So how long, if a student enters a program in 6th grade,
Okay.
is it something that they graduate out of after a year? Is it something that there's different foundational steps that they would go on from, like, is it sequential in order, like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, the program changes some, or what does that look like?
I mean, that's a great question. So I'm sure over the years we'll start adding and changing things. So the next year they will have to see something different. So as we add more technology partners in different areas of technology, then we'll add to that. But right now, once they graduate at that cohort, we're trying to make sure that they'll be able to either, if they're too young, then we have to, the math never goes away.
Yeah.
Other things. So they can keep continuing to do that. But the part of technology programs and certifications, they will have some time before they get actually utilize those things.
And as we are rebranding Frontline, if you will, or launching this circle of genius, we want to perfect that.
Yeah.
And so that's the basis, that's our foundation. Now, as they matriculate through that circle, go around that circle, then we have activities, events, and tours. And so one of the reasons why we're super excited, and I don't want to come across that we're more excited about Marcus than any of the other staff, but they just won robotics event at UCF and at Florida A&M University. And so now kids can join the robotics team and tour the country. Just like once the drone program launches, we'll be doing the same thing. So those kids will graduate out of the circle of genius, but they'll have other activities that ultimately will allow them to be exposed to so many areas of technology.
And those are international competitions.
Yeah.
So here in Orlando, you're probably aware of that. You have teams that are coming from Brazil and all over the world to compete in Orlando. And the other thing is, they can enter as many competitions around the country as we can afford. So that's the segue, the bishop, to go right into the next.
I will catch that. So there are a couple near-term needs, and just so you all know, number one, on May 18th, Legends Academy is having a groundbreaking at the former Frontline building where you all work. And so
The beautiful Frontline.
Legends was blessed to receive a $15 million bond financing deal to improve that Frontline building as well as build and add on to that space. And that's going to be a major infusion that's going to really make a difference in this community.
So the school's moving from the
From out of the
portables
modulars
over to
over
there.
to the, yes.
Wow, I had not heard that. And when will that open?
So they are scheduled to do it in phases.
Okay.
The first phase, they're scheduled to do next fall, fall of 2022. And then the second phase is fall of 2023. Now, given the construction schedule and the way things are happening, you know, we need you to say a prayer for them. But nonetheless, we still have the modulars, and we're working through that, and hopefully it will be an expansion that's going to really make a difference.
And how many students are enrolled at Legends now?
Right now, they're seeing about 350.
Okay. And those
Once
are
they
grades
K through 8.
Through 8?
K through 8.
Okay.
And once they finish their build out, they'll be at 556, I believe.
Okay.
And if in fact they do an additional plan, they can go up to as many as 800.
And you had, I'm sorry, I don't remember the terminology, but you had a preschool program at Frontline at that facility for a while, right?
Correct.
Will that continue somewhere as well or not?
So Legends is going to roll our pre-K program into their program.
Okay.
Because that seamless educational pipeline is just phenomenal.
Yep.
And so the real thing that we're excited about is from conception to career. So it's about being able to minister to those parents ahead of time when that child is conceived, and be able to walk that child all the way through to a career and have our faith as an overtone that helps to influence their way.
That's beautiful.
So that's what we're doing.
May 18th.
So May 18th. So everyone is invited out to that event, and I think it's going to be absolutely wonderful. Dr. Jenny and her team will be there, and that's a great time for us to celebrate. Now, June 16th, we need you to put on your calendar as well. And this is the event that Brian has already stepped up to be one of our lead sponsors, and we've got a big old check for him to sign. Where's the check? We got a big old check for him to sign. He came on as an innovation sponsor, and he'll be at the $25,000 level, which we are super excited about it. He's enabled us already. Yes. Okay, Dwight, please take a picture of him signing that check.
My Android?
Yes. Take a picture of him signing. You know, we want to make sure this check, well, we know it's going to cash.
FBO don't want me in the background.
Brian, thank you so much for your support, and I mean that. You're going to help make better men as a result.
Love this ministry, bro. I love what y'all are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Brian. Danny and the team.
Let's take a picture.
There's no pressure, but we love.
No pressure, but.
No pressure.
Oh my goodness, I didn't mean to do that.
You know, but we would love to have you all consider being a sponsor. But you all are already so supportive, and we would love for you to be there to hear more of the story. The next time you come here, we are a work in progress. So when Jamima says she knocked down these walls last week, yeah,
What's it?
yeah.
I watched though, I was here.
She's supervised.
So we're expanding this place, and now I really believe this is going to be an incredible impact to our community. And I thank you for our years of partnership. Matter of fact, Danny, I don't know if your team knows, when we purchased this building, your ministry, First Baptist, helped us fill the gap to make it across the finish line. So, you know, you're part of this building. I mean, your logo is up on that wall. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, look at that.
See, it's been up there. I had to look to check to make sure. But no, we are really excited about our relationship.
Yeah, and your team is amazing. I mean, they come out like this, like family, right? So many things we've done together.
Right.
You know, it's just amazing. You've been there for us.
So that's the presentation. Thank you for coming. And what we want to do, we want to give you a quick walkthrough of the facility so you can see. I mean, I know we showed you how everything was going to be transformed, but I think when you walk around and see the gaming studio, the administrative studios, the broadcast studios, the audio studios, it might trigger other areas where we can partner.
So where is the June 16th event?
That's going to be at the church.
At our church?
No, at our
your
church.
church,
At
okay.
our church, Hope Church.
Okay. Hope campus of our church.
Exactly. And so, and as a matter of fact, Danny, we, I don't know if you know this, but I consulted with somebody on your team for all of your audio and video.
Okay.
And
Maybe Jason or Donna.
Jason, I believe.
Okay.
And he brought the audio visual team out to the church.
Okay.
And really connected us with the proper vendors.
Okay.
And so we're in the process of trying to install the LED wall and all of the stuff. And so,
awesome.
Again, partnering, and it was a great advice.
Great.
So if the stuff don't work,
Don't call me then.
but thank you all so much. So,
Take a picture with Brian.
yeah, please. Yeah. Come on, Dwight.
I'm gonna get him in the middle.
Okay. You got it?
Why don't you get in the middle, Brian?
Oh, okay.
That's great, man.
Very nice.
You may want to turn around.
Oh, let's do it right
okay.
there.
We'll do metaverse now.
Yeah. Where are we supposed to look?
Just, you're good.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Love you guys.
Love you.
I love what you're doing.
All right, God bless. So let's do the tour and then we're out. And Danny, you need to meet Pastor Jerry. He's a great guy doing some great work in our community.
Jared, where are you pastoring?